What is happening in Yemen? The recent attacks on Saudi Arabia from the Houthi side shows the tense situation prevalent in the region. Yemen has been undergoing severe challenges ever since the Yemeni revolution that erupted in 2011 at the backdrop of Arab Spring revolutions. The revolution later became a power struggle between the Saudi-backed coalition and Iran-backed Houthi rebels. While the Saudi-led coalition believes it as a shadow operation by Iran, Houthis claim that the government discriminated them for years. The war in Yemen has been categorized as the worst humanitarian crisis with at least 14 million people on the brink of famine. The war between the Saudi-led coalition and Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen have crossed several phases with increased retaliation from the Saudi side. Winning the war in Yemen is of vital importance for the Houthis to retain their power and for Riyadh to avoid any threats along its southern borders. The United Arab Emirates too has significant stakes in the war as the country has constantly attempted to widen its influence in southern Yemen. The war remains a geopolitical imbroglio with several states looking forward to control strategically vital locations and to further accentuate their influence in the region. For instance, recently Yemen's UAE-backed southern separatists seized control of the Socotra island. The Southern Transitional Council says it has also deposed the governor of the island. The Emiratis are vying for control over several strategic locations in this region. The recent developments in Socotra can be observed in conjunction with UAE's presence in Eritrea, Somalia, and several strategic locations within Yemen. There have been multiple efforts to de-escalate the tension. The little success of Stockholm Agreement of 2018 and Riyadh Agreement of 2019 indicates the danger ahead for Yemen, as the country now faces severe humanitarian crisis after the outbreak of coronavirus. Yemen recorded more than 1,000 coronavirus cases so far. However, several sources suggest that the actual numbers can be much higher. The outbreak of cholera in Yemen in 2016 amid the war pointed out the serious challenges Yemen's healthcare system faced. The cholera outbreak infected over 1 million people, causing a healthcare catastrophe in the poorest country of the Arab world. Despite the fact that the disease being a treatable one with proper medication and healthcare, the spread of cholera took the lives of thousands of people ever since the outbreak. As nearly 80% of Yemenis are reliant on food aid and thousands of people are affected by diseases like dengue and cholera, the country is on the brink of a major catastrophe. Efforts of the several international agencies like the World Health Organization and International Committee of the Red Cross have also been affected by the war. Their attempts to address the health emergency have been hindered. Migration to Yemen from the Eastern African countries has been another important aspect as thousands of people migrate to Yemen each year even though the country has been devastated by the ongoing war. With the borders closed and strict policies of immigration in Saudi Arabia, many people who have migrated from Eastern Africa to Yemen are now clueless. As per some reports, in 2018 nearly 100,000 people arrived in Yemen from the Horn of Africa. Similar was the situation in 2019 as many migrants reached the war-torn country in the hope of crossing the borders of Yemen to enter Saudi Arabia. This further burdens the challenges Yemen is already facing and puts the country at a greater risk. The fact that Yemen is battling the present pandemic with its fragile healthcare system makes it extremely vulnerable to further devastation and a worse humanitarian crisis.